Amanda! Amanda! Did you listen to your lawyer?
So, after all this time, Amanda Dumont and Scott Bakker have been found guilty of criminal negligence causing death, and each of failing to provide the necessaries of life in the death of baby Riker Dupont Michaud, a 20-month-old Strathroy boy who was so badly burned by hot coffee and never taken to the doctor for treatment. This morning, Superior Court Justice Renee Pomerantz concluded that both Dumont and Bakker were criminally responsible for the little boy's death. This has been a shocking and heartbreaking trial about a child, helpless child, who was left unattended and left to die after experiencing some of the most gruesome injuries that a courtroom has likely seen in photographs. The photographs of those injuries that were shown to a jury last Christmas before that it ended in mistrial, and shown to Justice Pomerantz, were an anchor, Justice Pomerantz said, in her decision to convict both Bakker and Dumont. Both defense lawyers, Gord Cudmore for Scott Bakker and Ken Marley for Amanda Dumont, reacted to the verdicts.
There was certainly an argument of whether he had a legal duty or not, and that was what we put forward. We weren't discussing the moral obligations or anything like that. It was strictly whether he had a legal duty, and Her Honor found he did. All I can say is he's not happy with the decision, and I guess that's not a surprise. But beyond that, I really can't say anything more.
Well, it's certainly a very disappointing result. First of all, I'm sure you could see the disappointment reflected on Ms. Dumont's face. The sentencing hearing will be a very emotional one, that's for certain. I think the issue is, what do you do with a first-time offender who otherwise appeared to be an excellent mother, and for some strange reason, as Her Honor already expressed that opinion, it's hard to imagine why this happened in the way that it happened.
Both lawyers said that this was a long and difficult trial and it had affected them personally.
It was certainly one of the most challenging and emotionally draining trials that I've ever done. And defense lawyers, like everybody else, are human. And one can't get by the tragedy that is at the base of this case, and that's that regardless of the decisions, you still have an 18-month-old child who's no longer with us, and that's tragic.
You can't do this kind of work and not be affected by what you hear and see. Just like the same is true for you.
While the guilty verdicts are in, this case isn't over. It now enters a sentencing stage. A date for that sentencing will be set on October 17th, and there have been pre-sentence reports ordered. For the London Free Press, I'm Jane Sims.